up, get out right out of your bed, that's your quicksand. Getting rid anxiety and head, you can fix it. Rid of stigmas, all of them you said, we ain't listening. Just remember, try to do your best, you can win this. Maurice Benard, State of Mind.
Okay, here we go. It's State of Mind, and it's I'm doing some part twos, not many, but I only do part twos if I feel the need or the whatever.
Or if the guest bugs Paula.
But today we have somebody who is a friend of mine. This guy's an actor, producer, creator, lover, husband. He does everything. He's actually Cobra Kai, which is a huge deal. I don't really watch it, but I know how big of a deal it is. His name is Sean Kanan.
It's so good to be here with you, man.
Damn.
Good to see you.
You got something you want to...
Well, I do. I was thinking about this. We've known each other. It's going to be 30 years next year that we've known each other. It's a long time. Wow. It's a long time. And I wanted to give you something that's just a thank you for being a friend, but I also wanted to give you something that's a thank you for everything that you do for mental health, it's so important. And, you've done such an amazing job of helping to bring it out of the shadows, especially among men. This is June is Men's Mental Health Month. And so I'm going to give you the little present first, which is a one-of-a-kind Maurice Benard shirt.
Oh, my goodness, man. Look at that,
Isn't that
man.
cool? So that was done by a friend of mine. He's an artist named Gus Vasquez.
Gus Vasquez?
Super talented guy, just a great soul. And he made that for you.
Wow. Look at that, people.
Cool.
Is that the coolest shirt you ever... Now you're making me feel like my shirts aren't cool.
And then here's the bigger gift, and I think you're going to really like this. It's something special from me to you.
Oh, my God. I just got chills.
It's beautiful, though, isn't it?
Oh, my God,
Cool.
man.
Look at that. Isn't that cool?
Honey, hold that to the left a little bit. Oh, sorry, camera left. A little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, no, too fast. No, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the left. More of it. Camera left, baby. Okay, I just want to see it on the shot. Yeah, oh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
Honestly incredible, you guys.
Yeah.
Let me see it now.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Wow. That's phenomenal,
It's
man.
cool, isn't it? It's beautiful.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Damn. Now you got me.
So now you got to be nice to me during the interview,
Oh,
right?
my God. Now you got me all
Well,
emotional.
you deserve it, my friend. You really do.
This is just phenomenal, man.
Guess where that's going, Sean?
Where?
Right there on that wall.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Oh, of course
love
it
it.
is.
I love it.
All right, let me...
Can you give that to Paula?
Yeah, now you got me off. All right. This is, I mean, look, I will say this, that painting in this shirt, one of the greatest gifts
Thank you.
I've ever received. No, I'm not joking.
You deserve it.
Thank you, man. It was like, what's his name?
Gustavo Vasquez.
Gustavo Vasquez.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Beautiful, man. All right, brother, let's get right into it. You were born in where Steve Burton, you know who Steve Burton is?
I've heard of that guy.
You were born in Cleveland,
I was born in Cleveland.
and then you grew up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I left when I was 5, and I grew up in western Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was a town of about 25,000 people, steel town. We lived in the suburbs, but we lived 5 minutes away from the Amish people. And so I remember the first time I brought my wife back there. I said, you're probably going to see some Amish people. They live like it's 1800. Sure enough, we see a horse and buggy. This guy comes walking out using a cell phone.
Now, the Amish people, okay, let me ask you a question, because I had somebody recently on, Danny Bates, who was a Mormon.
Okay.
What is the difference? Because I'm not very smart in this way.
I don't have a tremendous acumen about theology.
Oh, you don't?
Well, I think, look, basically,
Is it it's
Mormons follow the Book of Mormon, which from what I know, they believe, is it Joseph Smith?
from that play? There's a play about the Mormon.
The Amish people, I don't know exactly what sect of Christianity they follow, but they live as if it were like in the 1800s. They sort of shun technology and things like that. They live extremely modestly. Most of them are farmers, carpenters, things like that.
That's amazing. Yeah. And they look like they do in the movies.
They do.
With those beards
Yeah.
and the thing.
Yeah.
And the girls wear those.
The skirts, they're either dressed in like dark blues, grays, or black, very simple. They have all sorts of interesting customs, like if they tie their curtains off to the side, I think it means that their daughter's available for marriage. And if their door is a certain color, all this different underground code stuff that you have to be Amish to know about.
Well, I grew up Catholic.
I'm married to one of you.
And I have these conversations on here. It took me a while to talk about God, just because of the nature of the beast, Hollywood or whatever, and how people feel about that. But now I talk about it all the time. So I grew up Catholic. My mom's very religious, but I'm not religious. And then I quit being Catholic. Then I became a Christian when I had my nervous breakdown. But I wholeheartedly believe in God because I believe it in here.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I believe you feel the same way, there's no way we would have been able to do what we've done. And I'm not just talking about acting and career, but live our life without an extra help.
A divine plan.
Yes. I don't care if it's a Buddha, whatever somebody believes in. I believe life's too difficult to do it by yourself.
I agree.
You agree, Sean?
I do agree. It's funny. I've become not religious, but I've become. I sound like one of those girls who's like, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual.
I know.
But I mean, my connection to a higher power has become significantly strengthened and more intense as I've gotten older and gone through a lot of what I've gone through. And it's funny, you mentioned you reticent to talk about religion or anything like that because of living in Hollywood. I just find it amazing that we exist in this microcosm, Hollywood, which purports to be so tolerant of everything, yet if you voice that you've got a connection with God, that's somehow you're a weirdo. I mean, I just it's like live and let live, man. You know? I don't chastise anyone for what they believe as long as it's not violent, destructive,
I agree,
or hateful.
I agree.
But we've just gotten so tribalistic, and I think that people have become so quick to become offended by everything, identify as a victim of something, and it's like everyone just needs to take a collective deep breath.
I agree. I think if we just stop judging.
Absolutely.
I don't.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you do or what. What matters, are you a good guy?
Exactly.
Am I a good guy? Okay, good.
And talking about judging, I think people assign monolithic qualities to groups, and by that I mean, well, if you're a part of this group, you all must think this way.
Yeah.
And it's like there are conservatives that are pro-choice, there are liberals that are on the other side, and it's like, you know, there's nanoshades of gray in every group.
Yeah.
You know, and people are the same way. I mean, you know, you can't meet somebody and believe that because they hold one belief about one thing, that identifies them as all these other things. You know, people are complex.
Right.
We are strange monkeys.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
right.
you know, I firmly believe that any two people can sit down and break bread together and find commonality. It's when you start getting into this group speak and, you know, that
I definitely agree. Now, you've been 2 years sober.
Coming up on it, yeah.
And obviously, that's why you look like Rock Hudson.
Rock Hudson again with Rock Hudson.
I'll say Brad Pitt, but I just don't know why Rock Hudson comes to mind, because the way you're dressed is like an old-time movie star.
I'll take it.
And I think a lot of that has to do with not just not drinking, but how you feel about not drinking.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. Somewhere along the line, I made some peace with things, and I guess you know, somebody said something to me once, and it sounds so simple and even maybe cliche, but it really resonated with me. They said, "Would you give up one thing to have everything?" And I thought about it.
Wait, say that again. I like that.
Would you give up one thing, in my case, drinking,
to have
everything? And I have everything.
Because you gave up the one thing.
I gave up the one thing. And it seems so simple. And as with most things in life, they're simple. They aren't easy.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to say that it was easy. I mean, there were absolutely times right up into my early 50s when I was like, I don't think I'm going to ever get this. I don't think that this is going to happen. And it really scared me because I was getting older and I felt myself slipping into a place of mediocrity, and I knew what I was capable of. I knew that I had so much to show the world, so much I wanted to show my wife, to give her the life that I wanted to give her, so much that I wanted to give myself. And this one thing was absolutely standing in my way of doing any of that. And it was like the clouds parted, because once I stopped drinking, it was like the universe opened up to me. I mean, it was crazy. You know, I think about 2020, which was such a difficult year for so many people because of the pandemic. And I had just stopped for a couple months. And my 2020 started out doing back-to-back movies with Bruce Willis, finishing, Way the Cobra came out.
How's he doing, by the way?
Well, it was clearly evident when we worked together.
Oh,
that he
really?
was struggling, yeah.
What does he have?
He's got some kind of dementia, from what I understand, and something else called aphasia, which affects your ability to speak. It was very tough and very sad. But you know, that year was incredible, and it wound up doing Cobra Kai, and the icing on the cake was I got called back.
2020 you did? Not during the pandemic.
2020,
that was a tough year.
No, 2020 was a great year.
Oh.
I think at the end of 2020 is when I did Cobra Kai, if I'm not mistaken, and then it came out in 21. Anyway, and then you know, the capper was getting called back to do Bold and the Beautiful. I think I went back in September to do Bold and the Beautiful. I can't remember if I did Cobra Kai after that. Anyway, it was an amazing year, and I just, none of that would have happened if I was not changing, making the life true. And also, you know, I think I talked to you about this last time. I said, you know, here I am, I'm writing this book. I'm elevating myself to a position of being a sensei, a teacher. And I was like,
your fourth book, by the way. Let's just put that out.
Well, this was my third one, Way the Cobra, when I said this. But I was like, look, I cannot put this book out in good conscience. and not live the life that's commensurate with what I'm writing. I mean, it's like Doc Holliday says. He says, my hypocrisy only goes so far.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I
Right.
would have felt like just a huge asshole. And I was living my life in accordance with what I put in the book. I was kind of taking my own advice, and it worked.
Wow. It's funny because you're talking like that. And, well, first I want to say you're like the poster child for somebody, especially right now, if somebody took a picture of you. This is what you could look like if you stopped drinking, and you would see Sean Kanan there, right? Because
well, you've seen both sides of it.
Well, recently I was, with someone, and it's the other side that it's so sad, right?
Is.
And I asked this person, why can't you just, why do you have to do the wrong thing? Can't you? He goes, because it takes away the pain.
It takes away the pain immediately,
So I understood that, because I really, sometimes, you kind of think, come on.
Well, just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Knock it off.
Right. It's not
that easy. I believe, at least in my case, a lot of my drinking was self-medicating. It was a way of dealing with anxiety, social anxiety, things like that. And then the problem is, it's like you're holding a tiger by the tail.
Yeah.
And it works for a little bit.
Right.
And then it doesn't work.
Right.
And so I balance having empathy and compassion, but you got to do the work. And, the work can look like different things for different people. I mean, I've tried programs, things like that, and they would work for me, but they would work for me for a while. But the thing about it is I always felt like it was my fingers were dug into the dashboard holding on.
Yeah.
And now I don't feel like that. I just feel
What was the one thing that clicked?
My wife said to me, she, God bless her, with her patience and love, she said, I've put everything into this. She said, please don't tell me I backed the wrong horse.
Ooh, that's great. I like that.
I was like, I am not going to not give her the life that she deserves based upon my inability to get my shit together.
Wow.
And it really resonated with me. And I think pretty soon after, I'm not going to tell you that it happened in a New York.
No, I get it.
I was on the path. I was like, and it's funny. It's like, you can hear the same message again and again. And sometimes it's the messenger who says it to you. And in this case, it was my wife. And, she's my everything. And I just wasn't willing to lose her.
Wow.
And it wasn't like she was saying, I'm out the door, get it together or else. She never said that to me. Never.
She loves you.
And I just was like, I'm not going to do this to her. But ultimately, I had to do it for myself.
Yeah.
And I did it for myself first. I'm a firm believer in you got to put your oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't save, you can't help the people around you.
Yeah.
And I just was like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
That's deep. That's very deep. I mean, look, I'm not going to get into it because I get into this too much. But if I had to ask myself that question during the pandemic, after 4 months of horrific hell, sometimes I think you have to go through hell more than once to figure out who you are.
Oh, yeah.
So I think for me, it was finally getting professional help and taking something that eased.
Yeah.
Kind of like drinking would be, right?
Yeah.
But that eased that ugly pain just enough for me to have hope.
Just open the window.
Yes.
Let it come through.
That's what it was.
It's funny. It sounds to me like you had some internal conflict about doing that. And it's, this month, June, is Men's Mental Health Month. And it's such a difficult situation for men to ask for help. You know,
Well, Sean, for
we're
me,
not raised that way.
I'm not like that at all. I want help,
No,
help,
no,
help.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just couldn't get it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And during the pandemic, I couldn't get it. Even I couldn't get it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. I was help. Because when I feel that pain,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You knew what it was.
take
you're
it
like,
away, please, or
Right.
I'm going to end my
Right.
life. That's the way it was.
Oh, God, I hate hearing that.
Oh, yeah, it was every day. But, you know, finally, this
Got it right.
this psychiatrist, you know, he was funny. And he subscribed Lexapro, and then, whoa.
I think the thing that's difficult for people.
But you're right about men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's difficult for people that get pharmaceutical help is you got to realize that it's not an exact science, and that they got to tweak. And you know, sometimes you're like, I'm not getting the results I want, therefore, you know, none of it's any good. It's not true.
That's true.
You got to take it for a while. It's got to build up.
Yeah.
You know, a level in your blood, start to act, and then you go, okay, this isn't for me, and then you try something else. But you got to be open to it being a process.
I agree.
And trust the results will come. And it's super frustrating when you want pain alleviated right away, and it's a process sometimes.
Yeah. All right, we've covered the depth of the state of mind, mental health. I want to talk to you. I want to go down memory lane with you just about certain jobs.
Sure.
Let's start with, I killed you on General Hospital, right?
You did kill
Well,
me.
let me explain something. I had Chad on here, and Chad's like, you killed my father. I'm like, okay, first of all, it was self-defense, right?
No, it wasn't. Not even a little bit. No.
And somebody sent me the video, and I just
It
killed.
was not self-defense.
No, I just
Just
killed.
outright shot me.
Shot you, but I didn't put you on a hook. What was it?
You know, there's. Thank you for that.
Billy Warlock, because he was
for that.
small, you know. But how'd you feel about your time there? And I mean, I know you played a character that wasn't a very cool character. Well, he might have been cool, but he wasn't liked or whatever because he was kind of a.
I have a lot of different feelings about General Hospital. You know, when I first got on the show, I didn't intend on going into daytime. I was doing a series for Francis Ford Coppola. I was doing The Outsiders, which was amazing because it was based on the books by S.E. Hinton that I grew up reading. The Outsiders, Rumblefish. That was then. This is now, and I think from that, after that, I did a TV movie for Oliver Stone, and so I was on a certain trajectory, and. Steve Burton and I, who were friends, he told me that they were...
Arnold? Okay.
They were looking for someone to play his brother, and, you know, I went in and screen tested, and I got it. And, you know, I always joke that if I've got one talent in life, it's grabbing onto coattails bigger than me. You know, the whole Karate Kid universe.
Yeah.
You know, I came in on Karate Kid 3, but you know, it's like this huge thing. And General Hospital, it's been around for 60 some years, and so you know, I just felt like the character AJ never really got a fair shake. I mean, I was kind of told I was there to play the asshole, and you know, as an actor, you can't play asshole, you know.
No.
You know, the actor's going after, you know, what his goals are, his wants, his needs, and, you know, playing asshole is not an objective. And I felt like the character was really not supported, and I suppose on some levels it made me feel like I wasn't supported. And I worked very hard in the show, and I think
But you weren't who you are now then.
That is true, and you know, I was definitely struggling with you know, my alcohol issue at the time, and I think it was exacerbated by the fact that I was playing a character who was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of life imitating art and art imitating life.
Right.
And I think probably there were times when I allowed myself to feel resentful and use that as an excuse to act out, which
That's
was,
a good way of putting it.
That's being a victim. That's playing the victim,
Yeah, I know.
which is useless.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of frustration for me with that, but it was also a really amazing time to be a part of the show. Working with you and Ricky Martin and Vanessa and Antonio, and we had that whole group.
I know, man.
And Wally Kurth. It was a very special time on the show. I mean, it wasn't the heyday of General Hospital of the 80s,
No.
but it was a big heyday. You know what I mean? It was like a really...
It was the heyday
It was a good time.
If there's two heydays...
It was definitely the second
It was
one.
the lesser of the
Yeah.
heyday, but it was
Right.
still heyday.
Right.
I mean,
A few less bales, but it was still a heyday.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, we took on some really important socially relevant issues at the time. We took on mental health. We took on Stone's storyline with HIV.
Yeah.
And again, that was a tough thing for me because I was tasked with playing sort of the Greek chorus of ignorance. AJ was the guy who, had all of the really, the comments that just were horrendous about, Stone and HIV. And it was tough for me because I had and continue to have a lot of friends who are gay. I've got family members who are gay. And that couldn't be further from who I am as a person. And I ultimately came to the peace of mind that the overall storyline was more important than me or the character. And if my job was to be sort of a cog in the machinery of telling this important story, then I was going to play that character to the best of my ability, even though I personally found it distasteful. And as an actor, you frequently will be given things to do as your character that run contrary to how you feel personally, and you can't judge your character.
Yeah,
You cannot, I teach an ongoing acting seminar every month, and I'm saying, what happens if you're tasked with playing Adolf Hitler, the most despicable human being that's ever walked the earth, but you have to recognize that for him, he couldn't have done what he did if he didn't believe what he was doing was for a specific reason. So you have to somehow wrap your head around playing that part of him and not judging it, which of course is very difficult, but then don't take the part.
Yeah.
But
we act out, and that's what we do.
Right.
And then as we look back, we go, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. But maybe at that time, it just
you're acting based on the tools and the self-awareness you have at the time.
Exactly.
And if life goes well and progresses, you grow as a person, you become more self-aware.
Yeah.
And you
How old were you?
I think I was like 32.
Oh, you were 32.
Which sounds like it's old.
Yeah, it does, but
it does. I remember when I was a kid,
but
like
it's
a 30-year-old guy wore like a gray suit and had a hat and sold insurance.
But the character was younger.
The character was younger, but I'll tell you, for me, I didn't really start to get things together until I hit about 50, which sounds like...
No, you're right.
And a lot of people get it together earlier.
I know,
God bless.
I know.
But that was my journey.
I know.
It took me that long. And I thank God that I did, because I may not have.
I think it took me 58 years.
And people don't understand that sometimes. They're like, well, what's...
we get by.
You get by, yes.
But not...
But to get to the point where
you're at now.
Not just get by, but you can help other people.
Yeah. Exactly.
When you can have a little wisdom, you can have a sense of self-awareness that you're able to affect the outside world from hopefully a little bit of knowledge and wisdom that you've acquired. And so you're not just taking up space, you're making the world a better place, hopefully.
Yes, that's exactly...
Whether it's with your children or with other people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's part of... people always say, well, what's the meaning of life? Well, for me, the meaning of life has always been the meaning that we give to life, that we bring to life, finding what it is that we're here to do, and then finding how we can use that to benefit the rest of the world.
I agree. That's what this is.
This is a walking, talking example of you putting it into motion.
It started in the car.
Yeah.
And then from the car, and just because I felt it in here, I felt it.
But don't you think a lot of that comes from, not internalizing shame, but externalizing an openness to say, you know, this is who I am, but I'm not gonna feel shame about it. I'm gonna use this to bring, you know, to shine a light, in this case, on, you know, mental health issues, rather than just, I don't want to say be selfish, but just sort of hide it and internalize it.
Yeah.
Say, here it is. You know, this is what I've dealt with. I've got a platform. Now, how can I help other people? And I think that's incredibly brave.
Yeah, thanks, man. I always go back to the first thing when I wasn't going to talk about mental health because I didn't want. I was told that actors would think I would go crazy on the set and not hire me. So one day I did a little article, and this boy wrote me a letter, and he said because he read what I had been through in the mental hospital, it helped him deal with his brother who took a gun and killed himself. And I said, you know, I'm going to talk, and I haven't shut up.
Yeah, and it's made a profound difference in who you are on this planet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you could have always been a guy that was a very successful, talented actor, but you've chosen to give back, and that's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this. I made Maurice cry.
Yeah.
Can I get my own show already?
You kind of did. And now my son's going, Dad, you always cry in every show. You know,
Listen, you know, there's nothing, you know, it's so funny. Our stock in trade is emotions.
I know.
You know?
I know.
You feel strange. I think that comes from, you know, being with another guy that, you know, we're so taught to withhold our emotions as men. And most men that I know, when they get an honest emotional response from another man, you know, it's not like you're going to try and use that for some kind of leverage.
No.
You use that as a way of mutual bonding, because I think everybody has a part of themselves that's wounded.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't let it define you.
No.
You got to use it as a catalyst to help you become who
And
you're
we
meant to
need
become.
to do this so whoever's out there, some guy, some boy, trust me, I get a lot of, not letters, but you know what I mean. They need to hear it. Yeah. They need to see a tear coming down your face. Yeah. They need me to stop and go.
It's not weakness.
No, well, I got a T-shirt that says that. Before we go, I'm gonna talk about Cobra Kai.
Sure.
Because that's a big deal. So what's up? Who are you in Cobra Kai, and what is going on with you in Cobra Kai?
So I played Karate's bad boy, Mike Barnes, in the Karate Kid 3. And, you know, it's crazy that 35 years later, you know, you get another bite at the apple to play that character again. Cobra Kai is consistently the #1 show in the world when it comes out.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just insane. And it was so much fun going to do it again. I mean, first of all, you know, going back and, you know, playing this character again with Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka and Uji Okamoto, and but getting a chance to play this character no longer as sort of the unidimensional thug that he was, but now as a multi-dimensional character.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, and you know, that was one of the things when I was talking to the creators of the show. I said, you know, I would love to see the guy have some kind of evolution. You know, it's 35 years later, and I said the other thing is I would really love for him to have a sense of humor. You know, I love comedy, and you know, at the core of Cobra Kai is a lot of humor, and so they were able to tick both those boxes, and it was an amazing experience.
Did you work with Thomas either?
I did. Worked with Thomas, yeah. And,
I know Thomas. I used to. Yeah. That dude will kick your ass.
Guy. He's tough.
Dude.
He's tough. Yeah, he's legit.
He's like tall and big, and he can fight.
Terrific actor. It was great to get the chance to work with him again, and you know, I can't say whether or not I'm going to be on season 6, but it's going to be the last season, and so I mean, it's.
But you did a whole season?
I did 2 episodes in season 5.
Oh.
And you know, season 6 is going to be the last season of the show, and I think it's probably going to be one of the most watched television events in a very long time. So
those residuals are pretty. So, you know, there's something, you did something, you and Michelle did something for my wife that was phenomenal. Not my wife, my daughter. Yeah. My daughter, Heather. You took Heather to I think it was Europe,
We went to Italy.
Italy, to you guys got married,
Yeah.
and
She's a I say kid now because she was a kid when we took her, but she's a woman now.
she's a
But
woman
she's
now.
she's an exceptional woman. Yeah.
I mean, look, we all just thought that was the sweetest thing,
Oh, thank you.
and she had the greatest time.
Yeah.
She's, when she came back, she never stopped talking about it.
I'm glad to hear that.
So you guys got married, and
Yeah, I've got a whole Italy is a whole thing for me. I used to live in Rome, and I've studied Italian for over 15 years now. I speak Italian, and
you speak full-blooded Italian.
well, I speak pretty close.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's hear something.
What do you want me to say?
Say,
È veramente un grande piacere essere qui con voi e con tutti quanti voi a casa. Non lo so, noi abbiamo un'amicizia per quasi 32 anni.
pero yo no sé qué está pasando porque me estás hablando
Guarda che parla italiano. Come mai chi parla?
Yo no,
chi
yo
parla
no sé
così
qué
bene?
está. Yo hablo español, yo no sé qué es
Ah,
italiano.
español.
Pues todo está bueno, todo está claro.
Because it's very similar.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar, yeah. So,
Um,
I love Italy. We were married over there, and I had our honeymoon in Sicily, and then Michelle and I were on this incredible trip about 5 months ago. We went to Dubai, and then we went back to Italy, and we stayed at the place where we were with Heather, where we had our wedding.
You went to Dubai?
They went to Dubai.
How's Dubai?
Dubai is really interesting. Dubai is, and I don't mean this.
Big malls and stuff?
Well, it's got the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. You look up and you see all of these tall skyscrapers, and then you see this other one that's like 3 times tall. Like you literally crane your neck. Dubai is kind of, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it's kind of like Disney World meets Las Vegas without the gambling, meaning everything is super new, super clean, very high end. Dubai is a city that's built for business. So they say that sort of the soul of the Emirates is in Abu Dhabi, which we didn't go to. But I mean, it was really interesting. Very nice people. I didn't know what to expect. It's a Muslim theocracy. The king is the absolute power there. But
they're nice.
they're very nice. The food was delicious. We stayed at the Atlantis, which was spectacular. I mean, it was really an experience. I mean, I just didn't imagine I was going to go to Dubai this year, and I did.
See, I would like to go if I can zoom in like Lost in Space.
If you could zoom in, like,
Yeah, well, because I don't want to fly.
the flying. But you just flew though, didn't you?
Yeah, but
Did you hate it?
I got anxiety again.
Was it really bad for you? Or were
No,
you
I took this thing. I'm not going to say it again because they haven't paid me enough. I'm just kidding. This stuff, and it worked. So
Yeah,
I went by myself for the first time I flew without Paula. Go to New York, do
you
talk
get to go
shows,
with some, okay.
and I had to go.
Yeah.
But
Are you going to fly again ever?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're cool with it.
Yeah, but not how many hours to go to Dubai?
Well, Dubai is like, I don't know, it's something like 14 hours, but you're flying on Arab Emirates, I mean, it's like, I didn't want to get off the plane. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I get you.
It's like a vacation on the plane. So that was pretty incredible. So then we went back to the hotel where Michelle and I were married. And so I love Italy.
Now, is the pizza better here than Italy?
No.
That's what people say.
No, it's not. But it's very thin there.
I like them.
I like thin. It's very thin. I mean, in Napoli, they invented the margarita pizza for the I think it was for the coronation of Margarita, and the pizza's it's pretty amazing there. Although there's some really good places in Los Angeles for pizza. I have a friend who owns a pizza place in Los Angeles, and they call it a proof, which is like the dough and the yeast. It's like a family secret, and he brought it from Naples, and it's called Pizzana. Pizzana is in West Hollywood. And he brought this proof from Napoli that has been in his family for like 60 years. And then I got another friend who owns a pizza place, and he puts nectar of agave
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they've all got their little secrets.
Little tequila in there.
The little tequila, right? And, they say in New York the pizza's so good because of the water, the pH level. So there's all these different little secrets. But, yeah, I think it's better in Italy.
Really? Because I've had... It's like people tell me the best beaches are in Cancun. I don't know.
Best beaches?
Yeah.
I gotta disagree.
Where then? Tell me.
I think the best beaches that I've ever been to are in Bora Bora, in French Polynesia, and in Sardinia, which is an island in Italy, off the coast of Italy.
You've been like all over the world.
I've been around, brother.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just want to go to maybe like Palm Springs.
To like Fontana. City of industry,
All right, listen. I think we've covered it. We've talked for what seems like,
Paul is like, it's 36 minutes. Keep talking.
It's been. Just want to say to the audience, it's been every time. I like this time better with Sean. The first time was great. It really was, but this time was because I'm looking at a man who's not only looks so much better, but I can tell that he's changed. And to see that in front of me was amazing for me. It really is. I'm not joking. Because I was watching Sean going, this isn't the same guy that I know. This is like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise put together. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me back on.
This is cool.
It's such an honor.
This is cool, man. We'll do it again, bro.
I hope so.
This is good.
I'd like that.
State of mind.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, man.
That was the best.
That's good.